matter how far it goes, down deep and under. We're stuck in this pattern, but I need you close. All I ever wanted was for you to prove me wrong. You're changing our colors again and again. I could never let you go. Something about you feels so different, makes me wanna risk it. Every time I look at you, you pull me back into your river. Swim a little deeper, I don't need to breathe with my head underwater. Not sure I really care. We're all of our demons, if they ever disappear, I will forgive you if you've forgiven me. We're stuck in this pattern, but I need you close. All I ever wanted was for you to prove me wrong. You're changing our colors again and again. I could never let you go. Something about you feels so different, makes me wanna risk it. Every time I look at you, you pull me back into your river. Swim a little deeper, I don't need to breathe with my head underwater. Deep it goes with my head underwater. We're falling like stars. I didn't notice the chaos inside my heart. Were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? You thought I knew. When were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? You thought I knew. I feel so close to you. But if you really knew, were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? You thought I knew. Were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me? You thought I knew. You thought I knew. You thought I knew.
Welcome everyone to Paladins Global Series. My name is Gabby here with Nick, and thank you for pointing out to me when there's two Drogoses in that video. He's got an evil twin.
I swear every sound in that trailer was made by Michael Bay's like Transformer guy. It's just like, that's all I can think of whenever like that little like I'm just like Bumblebee.
Well, I guess with your car and stuff.
Yeah,
You know.
I actually just saw there's gonna be a Bumblebee movie. How neat is that?
Oh,
My
the
boy's
things
getting
we teach
his
you.
own flick.
Everyone has a lot to look forward to, I guess, in the film world, but also here as well, because we are gearing up for HRX in November 16th through 18th. Buy your tickets now at highresexpo.com to catch all of our Paladins and Smite content.
You know, welcome back for those of you guys watching on Facebook, but a big welcome goes out to everyone joining us on new platforms today, whether it's Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, or anything else that I don't know about that we might be broadcasting on. Welcome, guys. Paladins Global Series. It's kind of the the grassroots tournament here for anyone to play in, really. It's open bracket. We run these things in regions all around the world, so you and your friends can go ahead and sign up. And a lot of these teams that compete every couple of phases or so, the winners of said phase get to come out to LAN here, compete for some big prize money amongst some of the best players in the world. That said, it's not going to be easy because you got to get through teams like Space Station Gaming, who have, at this point, earned themselves a bit of a world reputation.
Oh, yes. Them and Route Esports here in the finals of the phase, but Space Station Gaming, when they were here during our last LAN, everyone came in thinking about Burrito, and let's see what other international teams managed to come through, and Space Station Gaming made a splash. But we're going to get to see them here, and our first map where we are heading to is Bright Marsh.
As you can see at the bottom there, Ice Mines and Timbermill are going to be banned out. Now Space Station are a team that has dominated this region for a very long time, but they have since made a roster change. They moved a player named Ares I believe, off the roster today, so they'll be playing with their newest addition. Well,
yeah, so these matches are a little backtracked, so it looks like we're actually going to get Ares within this one. And our Patchets on the older one as well, so get to see some of that classic play.
We're seeing a Pit band out, a Con band out. Older patch, but Con still available for play here. Ruckus taken off the board as well. A lot of big picks still up and available here, but it's going to be the Makoa that bites the dust.
Yeah, and Makoa, we've gotten to actually see a decent amount of play from him compared to maybe like a month ago or so, partly because as we bring in the Cons and things like that, more things are ban-worthy and something's got to give, right? So in this case, Cassie and Inara, both ones that you'll often see rotated down in the ban portion, are picked up first.
So Rao focused pretty heavily on their frontliners here. It is Brightmar, so I think that is going to make a little bit of sense. But SSG more focused on their DPS. Recognize, hey, if they're going to grab their frontliners, we don't have to be too hasty about how we get after ours. They do take away Maldamba, which is a nice thing to strip away. I think it cuts a little bit of the legs out from under the Inara combination.
And even though we've seen some people opt to not bring that combo, even when it's available, I still believe it to be one of the strongest, especially on Bright Marsh, where Inara is already really favored on a map like this. So if you have her staying even longer and being able to use her cooldowns effectively, then that's just an opportunity to really shut down 50% of the battle, right? The capture as opposed to the push. Terminus on the opposite end, though.
And, you know, Terminus is arguably more important. Like, I mean, he needs Maldamba a little bit more, in my opinion, because of the Swift Spirits cards. I think that's a character that's limited only. Yeah, he's limited only by his movement speed and his ability to get in your face. And when you negate that with another character's synergy, I think it's one of the stronger combinations in the game.
But these are your lineups. Grover making an appearance as well. Bomb King, we don't get to see you with the Grok today like we did in console yesterday.
Some console cheese.
Yeah, that was pretty great. Getting to see speedy Sonic level King Bomb with that ultimate. But here, still Bomb King effective regardless of if he can add that extra punch during his ultimates.
And we're actually seeing a solo Grover run. And now this is something that I would say North America does more than anyone by a decent margin. So I wonder if Space Station saw this coming. This isn't something that has quite made its way into the international scene just yet, but it can absolutely work on this map because of the size and where this Grover can position. He can heal not only his backline, but his front line. And that tends to be the maps that he works on, right? When there is a safe place for a Grover to kind of sit intermediately between the front line and the back line.
And looking back at the Space Station Gaming roster, it's giving me some reinvigoration just of, oh yeah, you got FRZ God, who a lot have praised for his blaster play. He's here on the Drogos. Mitao on this Cassie gets a really, really quick first blood onto the Nando, just burning him down. And even though Rao is up on the objective right now, you can see Space Station Gaming just rotating effectively, take down the Inara. Right,
it's only a matter of time before they're able to win a fight. Look at all this healing pouring through to this Terminus for Xiao. And Dyron, actually, two of the, I gotta say, they're posting screenshots every day of their Realm Royale victories, which is a new Battle Royale game from Hi-Rez Studios set in the Paladins universe that has just launched today on Steam. So if you're interested, looking for a new BR to play, absolutely free to play, as are all Hi-Rez games right now. So go ahead, head on over to Steam, hit that download button, and start having fun.
I believe they have a lot of content rolling out today as well, as far as streams and stuff go. So if you're curious about the gameplay, you can just go ahead and check on our social media channels to find all the info you need. But actually, as much as we're talking about Space Station Gaming and the strength they have, Rao Esports, nonetheless, passing that 90% mark, get a little bit stalled, but here they are, ready to try and capture Space Station Gaming, forced to apply the pressure.
Rashao's got to work his way back to this objective. 99%, but the boys of Rao Esports recognize that just not going to be able to squeeze this one out just yet. Unfortunately, a big headshot connects from Ares. He's going to put Risen in the dirt. These two frontliners dismounted far from the objective, and it will be a Space Station capture.
Does Grover work like a normal tree, where if you look at the rings, you can tell how old he is?
I don't know. I figured you'd probably have to cut him in half to see how many rings he had.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he can.
So at that point, you'd probably just want to ask.
Yeah, probably. Be a little
rude to ask. Cut him in half, see how old he is.
I guess both are rude. It's kind of one of those rock and hard plays. Which one can he get away with?
Well, one's murder, and the other's just rude. Oh, I love this. I actually love just buck wild into Inaras.
It's pretty great. Just burning down completely Aries on this Buck. And like we said, they did make a roster change, so we're not going to get to see him on this roster as time goes on. But it is great to see the play from this just traditional team synergy that we saw during the LAN.
Yeah, and there's so many more you know, shield cooldowns, things like that for the other frontliners. And Nara's the best one. And, you know, even like you look at other flankers and stuff like that, right? They only survive like 2 shots of the like 10 you can get off. So I like seeing Inaras get killed by Buck Wild. Even more than I like seeing Inaras get killed by Dragon Punch.
Yeah, that was big. Right into the face. A bit over a minute to go here. And the streaks are starting to get pretty strong for Space Station Gaming as they get picks after picks. 2 kills for Aries, as the King Bomb doesn't, or Bomb King rather, goes down. Here is a push 2-0 for Space Station. And even though it was a little bit of a struggle bus on the capture, it felt like one of those where Rao was getting that 99%,
right,
but Space Station Gaming wasn't too worried about it.
And it should be a struggle early on. And here's that Buck Wild again. That's what I'm talking about. It's one of the only targets Inara's easy to get all the shots off of, and the only ones that can survive the majority of that ultimate. So I actually think it's one of the higher value targets for you to get. It's just hard for those stars to align. And though it was tough for Space Station initially, Rao Esports, if they have any sort of semblance of a chance in this set, they should have put up a fight like that in the first round. They have, I think, the superior front line here with not only Inara, but Fernando as well. You have a Grover, which scales very well early on because just pouring all of his healing out and gets his ultimates online very, very quickly. It can be difficult early game to put a lid on, but once you get later game cauterizes, anti-heal coming online, he becomes more manageable.
And here you go right off the bat, still with that aggression. Rochelle picking up a couple kills. And the fact that Space Station Gaming has been able to get these picks so quickly, anticipating where Rao is rotating to. And it's the same story. Rao, 66% right now with comeback mechanics. Space Station Gaming doesn't seem too worried. And the fact that these teams play against each other quite often, because Rao we also see here in the PGS a bunch, I'm sure they have some level of being able to anticipate those rotations and such.
And they're doing the right things. Don't get me wrong. You know, they're parking Inara on this objective. The difference between this team and a team that's going to beat Space Station is just the fact that they wouldn't have lost that fight that quickly. That's the right way to do that. The only counterplay Space Station has is to just go around the map and try and win this fight as fast as possible to then displace Inara off the objective.
Up and back on the objective, we actually go with both of the teams. Rochelle getting nice and aggressive, but eventually goes down to Dread Serpent right into the middle of the fight. FRZ God making his rotation double kill with that prime old blaster play that we know and love.
He got his reset on his thrust, but was unable to get it off. Here comes the Buck Wild. Aries unsure if he wants to press this one too much harder. He's at least bought space for his team, and sometimes that's enough.
And right now, it's just enough pressure where Rao is a little scared to go in, and GTFAM ends up doing so, pays the price of his life for it, 99% on both ends. And another Enlightenment.
Nice.
Last time, Aries had actually gotten caught out by it and killed off, but this time was able to avoid it and still in pursuit of this Leon.
Oh no, he missed this jump. He stuffed it straight into the roof. Here comes the Reanimate's going to pick up 2. Space Station grab the 3rd objective. A beautiful fight. The Immortal doesn't accomplish much as Fernando falls. Rochelle surges to the back line, hungry. Clean up this kill, but FRZ God has beat him to the punch.
Everyone was just so low, and Rao, even though it survived past the actual capture, ended up getting eliminated pretty immediately after. Look at Matao on this 13 streak. Sometimes it's easy to forget about what Cassie's doing because she kind of just puts in the work with those autos and everything, and then you look back and you think, oh, wow, you've been picking up a lot, dealing a lot of damage. FRZ God gets another kill onto this Inara, which is super important that Space Station Gaming has been locking her down.
150 left on the clock. Do Space Station need all of it? Doesn't necessarily look like it. FRZ God has just completed a very fruitful flank over through one of the secret passageways here on Bright Mars that only flying characters can accomplish. He returns to his back line, a champion, picking up a couple of kills for his team, and Space Station just need one more team fight win to close this game 1.
A couple ultimates about to come online for Rao, but here's a Dread Serpent from Space Station Gaming. Aries getting the kill onto Nando as a result, and now starting to get aggressive right in the face of this Grover, who's outside his spawn doors, but cannot find safety. Another team wipe, and that's the victory for Space Station.
Big rockets connecting for FRZ God now. He's hit the E mode on the low ground. Space Station complete their 4-0. Now we'll head to Rao's map pick, see if they can bounce back in some way, shape, or form. Made the right moves, still got 4-0'd. Space Station, just the better team, yes, but I think there's a solid foundation here for Rao.
Yeah, and you had the Inara and Nando against the Terminus, and that's why when it came to that capture, you do expect them to have some of an impact, and you should be getting a lot of that percentage. But in the end, Space Station Gaming knew they were playing with the triple DPS, and the fight was the name of the game for them, and they just leaned into it.
Yep. So we'll head to the map screen here, see where the series will unfold. Rao, like I said, get the map pick next. And then for the rest of this best of 5, it's losers map pick games 4 and 5. If necessary, Space Station Gaming could just complete the 3-game sweep.
Stone Keep. Next place we're heading to, and now into the draft. And yeah, I think with Space Station Gaming and Rao, as we said, both teams we've seen plenty before, but Space Station Gaming, they've been working so hard. They scrim with Burrito all the time, so they're also in that boat of trying to make sure they surpass any of the expectations of their region and propel themselves into that ability to contest those PPL teams.
Same bands, different first pick though for SSG. They scoop away the Inara early on, and Fernando BK taken in response. So the same couple of champions here out of the gate for Rao. Buck's gonna probably stay here for
more loud noises.
Yeah, more loud noises. And no potential counter there. Cassie, the first pick last time for SSG, but they've adjusted their strategy somewhat accordingly, and it doesn't appear that Rao are very antsy to even get the Cassie.
Yeah, so far the damage potential is looking the same for SSG. Let's see if they end up going with a third, but Rao also, you got the Bomb King again, but the Shaolin, he's going to be coming through as well, and Xin actually just secures it for us that it is going to be triple DPS with Meldamba to support.
So a strong front line here in Inara Damba, and it's going to be relatively up to these individual players to win their 1v1s. They're not going to have any sort of luminary. And now Rao, they go with the 3 DPS as well. They have the Geno, so they have everything they need to win a lot of these matchups. Xin and Buck can be difficult matchups just inherently. That's how the characters tend to work. But I think they have the edge, especially with the Genos, to be able to tip the scales in their favor.
And maybe they're coming here on a map that they picked, potentially feeling fairly comfortable, and now with the Genos to supplement for the rest of the team a bit. Ares is going to be on the Xin this time, so they're giving the Buck over to FRZ God.
Up in smoke 5. Billow speed for days here. Standard bulk up loadout for FRZ God this time around, and that's why we see him able to survive those enlightenments. Just the healing and that 40% damage reduction. So much at his disposal to survive things. Big nukes like Enlightenment coming through that are hoping to land the killing blow, but probably won't. Very Billow-centric loadout here for Ares' Xin. He'll be able to get in and get out of fights, maybe recognizing that without Genos' healing, he'll have to look after himself a little bit more.
And with a player as lethal as Ares, if you can survive on top of that, he's going to be a sticky champion for Rao to deal with right now. Raining in the shots into this Nando. Gets a shield on himself, but it's not enough, so Rashao gets the final blow. And
they have the mobility to continue to chase here. Now, Buck was taken down, but I think his sacrifice was worthwhile. It keeps the rest of Rao Esports in this little hallway, this choke point, long enough for them to clean up. Gervin manages to get 2 of those frags, which is a nice consolation prize. You're just really getting a little bit of credits here. You're not going to actually accomplish much in terms of map and objective control, but, it's something.
Yep, because now as those respawn on the side of Rao, Space Station Gaming, similar to last game where they're just anticipating that movement and sending Rashao over to the objective. Here we go with Nando getting killed off once again, 99%. Overtime sets in, only 2 up for Rao, and the pressure that they can apply I don't think will be enough to actually prevent this, and there's your first capture for Space Station.
You can see FRZ got on this Buck, making the same rotation to just try and cut off the reinforcements. Ares is able to clean up Bomb King in the gatehouse. FRZ got escapes with his life this time around, but doesn't get any kills for his troubles. Buying a little bit of space for his team. That's what bulk up can be so good at. That's how Fnatic tend to run it, and I think that's the style we're seeing a lot of other teams adopt, because what's working for Fnatic seems to just be working.
I like the way that Space Station Gaming has been sending Rashao to kind of sandwich in a lot of these kills that they're attempting to get, where he's on one side and the damage dealers are on the other, leaving Rao with no place to go, particularly when one of the members are actually caught out. And here it looks like we could potentially get into a pretty rowdy fight if Space Station Gaming want to try and complete this. Ares gets a kill onto Nando, and that may be what they need to roll through this actual archway.
Looks like he may have been running Guillotine. There was a lot of focus fire onto that Fernando, but He went down especially fast. And I don't believe we've seen any Yomi strikes come out of him yet. Wall goes up, cutting off Gervin from the rest of his team. And now that opens the door for this Buck to just push forward, see what he can get.
Hey, starting to get some of those shots, miss a couple, but has to heal up. Now onto the low ground, some into the shield. Dread Serpent for some separation. Aries on the opposite end to throw those shots into the back. Finds a Shaolin. Matau gets the last hit. And Rao Esports once again coming apart at the seams, but they get a couple kills in the process. So that's going to make it more difficult for SSG to secure this.
That's going to do it. 67% on this Enlightenment. King Bomb is up and available, but Rao Esports don't even need it. They have plenty of other ultimates to work with. And now given where the payload is, it's definitely within striking distance. So if SSG make another attempt at this, they're going to probably be forced to use ultimates lest they go down 2-0 yet again, which is, it's not fine, but it's doable. I mean, some teams will just let you get that 2-0 victory if it means you get to save your ultimates.
You save your ultimates, and then that means you also have comeback mechanics. So the likelihood of you getting that is much higher with those kind of resources available. So when you're in these final 15 seconds, still holding a decent amount, Space Station Gaming end up losing their frontliner and sending Nando right on top of the objective. So they really have to actually just get some picks onto Rao if they want to make any opening for it.
These boys trying to move in here, trying to flank up to the high ground. Gervin shuts down Aries with a nice presence and puts a nail in this round. Defends 1-1, not a single ultimate used. Ultimate advantage heavily in favor of Rao Esports. So if they can win a fight, frankly, for my money, it needs to be now.
And right now with it being tied up as well and not having to use those ultimates, like you said, heavily in their favor. It also means that itemization is going to be much more evened up. And Gervin is on the Leon for the second game in a row and manages to be landing some great shots you saw right at the end of that round as well.
And that's a scary character to get dialed in on. A lot of Cauterize starting to come through as well. Gervin, I believe, running Precision, not running Death and Taxes. That so many people do. So that build is going to be a little bit more viable is not exactly the right word. Maybe stronger late game because you don't have to wait for that ramp up time there from Cauterize.
Oop, there goes GTFA. Down from FRZ God, still on this Buck. Gets a nice hit onto the BK. And Leon didn't manage to get a kill with that ultimate. Gets killed afterwards. And Rao with nothing but a Genos. And Shaolin respawns, but it's going to take a bit before he can actually come back and be impactful. So maybe waiting for the rest of his team.
Aldaba dutifully on the objective. Stunned out and slain. The simplest combo there is in the game. Finds him, and GTFA FM opens the door for his team to come back. Still a couple of ultimates to work with. Shaolin, Heat Haze being one of them. He pops it and makes his move.
See if he can pick up anything else, but Matau's the first one to strike within this fight. Here's the seismic crash attempted, but Gervin takes down Anara, so SSG a bit more vulnerable. Matau facing off against Gervin, and unfortunately for Gervin, he wasn't able to escape that shot.
And that burst combo is going to be good, and now Fernando's going to start getting poked away at on the objective. Wrecker's coming online. Here's the guillotine, and again, Fernando will be slain out. The problem, Rao Esports do win a fight there, but they literally had nothing going for them on the objective, where a Space Station already had 80%. So one small window of opportunity is all Space Station needed at that point to claim the next objective and go up 2-1.
Nando did all he could, and in the end, that's all you can ask of that frontliner. Just try and catch up as much as possible on the objective, but Space Station Gaming, because of the way that they were positioned, that shield's not going to be able to block everything, plus the ultimate just to quicken things up a bit. Now we're about 50% of this push already with 2 minutes to spare. Rao deciding right now that they're going to go ahead and hold in one of the stronger chokes when they're using the way that this outside of their spawn area is laid out to their advantage.
Aries is trying to break his way in here, having a lot of trouble. Everyone is getting through Gervin's Leon. 20 streak from Midtown shut down by said Leon. Now up to the high ground. One more shot would do it. He's going to find it. Not only that, but a headshot as well. Pops the Buck wild and looks to make it happen for SSG.
And there's a Dread Serpent on the high ground as well. Leon goes down. Everybody else just scrams away into their spawning area right outside, hoping to still have some kind of impact on this aggressive team, but it's not enough, so SSG now up 3-1.
Beautiful team fight there from SSG. They lose the mid-tow, but they're able to kind of capitalize on everyone else there. FRZ God finds a big win over on the Bomb King, and Goes on to just get some value for his Buck Wild there. That's the biggest caveat, the biggest thing that stops most teams from finding conversion on Stone Keep is not necessarily this choke point, but just how hard it is to find this initial pick, to break through this defense. It oftentimes does require you to pop some ultimates like that. That's a big investment here, a risk. Every risk can pay off, though, and it does for SSG.
I think Dyron may have some of the most consistent Dread Serpents I've seen. He plays Maldamba a lot within their compositions and has had some really clutch moments for them, whether it's here or during the LAN, that you have to commend him for as a support. Ooh, great Gord, though.
Gords could use some work.
Caster's Curse, man. I should just
It's real.
It really is. It really is. On the opposite end through time and space, and afterwards with some follow-up gets the kill onto Ares.
That was sick. That was actually just counterplaying the spike there. Just immediately lasers him out of the sky. I love that.
Yeah, really great reaction, but is it going to be enough? That's the question. Rao, do you have comeback mechanic? SSG, Ares picking up a couple kills, so no Shaolin, no Leon. You're feeling a bit more timid as Rao when you're going into the rest of this fight. And as you can see, they are deciding to retreat a tad.
But they buy the space that they need to just get this one started and at least stop the bleeding, because like you mentioned, comeback mechanic, he makes it a very quick timer. Space Station don't have long to react to Rao Esports aggression. Fight going on in the gatehouse here, but one quick strafe and a shot from FRZ God puts Shaolin, the first kill of this engagement, down.
Boy, oh boy, 84% still climbing. FRZ God looking for another target. There is a BK waiting to just be handled up there, but Ares is coming from the opposite end, not having to worry about this Nando. But there's some support healing coming from over on the sideline, and the King Bomb, he ends up just getting eliminated after that ultimate.
Important move there, is though FRZ doesn't really need the health. What he does need is the damage reduction. So he pops his recovery just slightly preemptively of that, or when he thinks that Bomb King ultimate is going to explode, to negate, 40% of that damage. The damage is already not the scary part about the King Bomb ultimate. It's allowing him to survive that would-be follow-up 1-2 punch from the Bomb King. Having the 40% damage reduction is going to turn that almost 2,000-ish damage into much, much less.
And now SSG up 2 games within the set. They're just 1 game away from clinching the win, and I mean, they don't show any sign of letting up. Now you're going to Serpent Beach. Yes, there was a defensive point owned by Rao, but I don't think that's anything that SSG really has to feel rattled by.
And I think the picks that we need to look out for, at least from SSG, is the Buck and probably the Drogos on this map. If we can just see complete high ground control, SSG, they're not going to be stoppable, I think, on this map. Rao have to do something different. SSG, actually, funnily enough, go with the Buck ban. Buck, very popular map for him, so maybe they're just trying to get that the mainstream champion that Rao are thinking they need to go after off the table early.
And if they don't want to pick him up first, then you might as well take him away. And SSG, they have the ability to apply that diversity in their champ pools. They don't have to rely on someone like the Buck in this situation to get them the win. But Eevee also banned away.
Kinessa could be looked at here with Buck and Eevee, 2 primary predators off the board. Ruckus will be taken first. He does tend to go on this map more than a lot of other maps nowadays, just for his ability to traverse on high ground. But I'm really looking out for this Kinessa here from Ares or mid tower. I think there's a couple of different guys that can play it for SSG. Cassie finally goes. Pip also banned every other game, will be taken by Rao.
And when someone is banned and then they get picked up in the one game that they're not banned, you have high expectations for them, in a sense, because there's a reason for it. But SSG picking up their support actually much early in the first game. It was around this time, actually, after their frontliners. But they want that Damba and Inara combination.
And they're going to get it. They get it pretty late. And Talus will actually come through. Talus does fairly well against characters like Ruckus and even Inara that are easy to shred. Sort of for the same but explanation we had around Buck Wild. It's easy enough to catch them out, and when you have a character like Talus who has things like lifesteal, things like damage reduction, anti-heal built into his loadout cards, you can easily pick up something like a Wrecker, and you pop your steroid, and it makes it very easy to go through Ruckus, which is traditionally a very difficult 1v1 matchup for most champions.
But I feel like SSG is getting exactly what they want, right? They get the Drogos for FRZ God, the Damba Inara combination. You've got Ruckus, who thrives on this map, and Kinessa as well. But Androxus is going to be the last pickup here as potentially an answer to the Drogos.
Yeah, this composition is a bit of a mess. I'm not going to lie, but it has some merits. It has a couple of things that can work. The con, being solo healed by the Pip, it's not something that's just going to even come close to contesting Maldamba and Nara on the front line. The strength of this RAW Esports composition lies in all of the damage amp that they have. They have things like the Con Shout. If Risen's running, I don't know if he's running Mega Potion or Catalyst at this point, but they have a lot of shred potential here between Androxus and Talus. If they can get these two flankers boosted up with a Battle Shout with Firing Line, they can move in there. They can deal some pretty quick damage onto Mid-Tau, probably shredding him out before his Transporter even is able to come through.
FRZ God back on the Drogos. You have Mid-Tau on the Kinessa, and these are going to be prime targets for the flanks. They want to try and shut them down early so they don't have too much of an impact. And right now, Rashao is actually going onto the sideline before rotating towards the objective. And 15% still climbing for Space Station Gaming. The RAW are actually just kind of grouped over there on the high ground and attempting to get some of these picks.
24% for Space Station. Quick pause coming out here by Rashao. Somebody may have DC'd or something. That tends to be the reason for these pauses. You can't pause in combat, but right out of the gate, you're seeing, you know, Nara do what she does best, kind of spearhead attacks, just be reckless in the early game. She can absorb so much healing. It's simply too much to deal with early on, but, you know, characters like Androxus, you don't play against them very often, so it's easy to forget just how much damage DPS that they're able to pump out, and a pretty formidable threat of their own right early on, especially when there's nothing like Havens, things like that coming online. They can catch you off guard fairly quickly, and the only people picking up Andro are the people that are insane at Andro, so that's also something to keep in mind.
And Gervin was doing well earlier as Rashao gets a double kill on the Leon, so even though they did lose, he still showed his prowess, and now here on the Andro. But I think Space Station Gaming, they know exactly who they need to lock in on as well. They've sent over to the objective, FRZ God taking to the sky, rains in some damage onto this Con, and now RAW are actually corralled a little bit behind the actual ramp.
Fire Spit's coming off cooldown here shortly, 90% on the objective, and this is good for FRZ God because they all have to pile in ripe for fire spitting, and now that's going to charge up the first Dragon Punch of the game. The first little bit of it will get Con shouted, but he's got enough fuel just to sustain and push right through the iframes.
Really great angle that he was taking with it as well. There's no chance of him getting caught out, and right now, immediately after that ultimate, just keeps rotating, gets another kill onto this Talus and SSG capture. And because of those kills that they got at the tail end, they should be able to make it past the first choke point.
220 now, and high ground control already looking good for Space Station Gaming, just peak popping rockets into the Stark room, and Ares gets chickened mid-dash, so he, you know, he flies with the velocity of 1,000 suns off of the high ground, but it won't save his life.
The poor rooster. He looks so
funny.
flustered. Yeah, I feel like no matter what, when you get hit by Evil Mojo, like, the chickens never look happy. They always look a little disoriented, but that one in particular, I don't know, man. He looked like he was just teleported into another world and didn't know what to do about it. But here we are, though. 1:45 left on the clock, and lots of ultimates. Back up here, Space Station Gaming, everything but the Dragon Punch.
Just figuring out if they can get a pick. You know, they have Kinessa, right? So they have the ability to get a pick, I think, without an ultimate, but it's always that. You can fall back on it and just pop one. And no Eagle Eye for this Kinessa, but it's not a big problem. Still able to find the damage. 1,200, a fully charged shot. Get some kills there. Salvo to the high ground. Puts Andro in a rough spot. No Fire Spit to follow it up. That one's destined to go to Cassie, who drops onto the low ground and just gets punished for it.
And the Dread Serpent hits, and then another shot from FRZ God, who's just been amazing as expected with his rotations. You saw a moment when Anar was actually pretty low with a lot of enemies right in front of her, and then FRZ God came in, saved the day, and now just punishing them for actually being in this side cubby.
There's a Talus somewhere. Here's the Rune of Travel goes off. And just pops a Dragon Punch. Overpower comes through, but the Dragon Punch is good. It's going to connect right into Khan's face. 40 seconds left. Pip's the only one here to contest. He eats a couple of quick shots from Mid-Tau, and that is that. First round done and dusted. Space Station Gaming potentially one round away from closing this set.
Between Dragon Punch and Headhunter, there was just nowhere for RAW to hide in that situation. So now going into it with comeback mechanic available to them, But they're going to be facing off against what we just saw with Inara and Ruckus, both Rochelle and Ares rotating and kind of taking their shifts basically on the objective, which allowed Inara to go into that side kind of flank Nara type attempt onto Rao.
10 seconds left before this round gets underway. Pretty big damage lead here. But you sort of expect that a little bit, especially from a team that is winning 5-0 for FRZ God. That's another big note that you mentioned. You know, 2 Dragon Punches are going to land, and he's not going to lose his life for it. Normally, the counterplay we see is for you guys to just try and trade out with this Drogo. GTFA goes in with the true power, but frankly doesn't get much of anything for it.
Yeah, it just ends up retreating safely, but not as happy as he wanted to be coming out of that ultimate. Now Space Station Gaming, knowing that that isn't available to Rao, and some of them chunked low right now. Rochelle actually falling into a little trouble, but luckily has a great support behind him, looks to the skies, finds Gervin, and that means that's 2 ultimates right now that Rao just got no value out of.
Mitao doing his best to keep his front line safe. Misses the big shot, though, and Cassie punishes him for it. Getting some good healing now. Cassie rolls in, but maybe a little bit more than she gambled for. Like we said, Inara absorbs healing better than any other character in the game, so it's easy to underestimate just how tanky, how much life she has left.
Ares gets roostified once more, taken down by Talus, but Space Station Gaming with Rochelle able to come right back to the objective, standing nicely on top of this gourd. And Rao, Talus is running into a bit of trouble. They got the single front line that's attempting to just face off against Nara, but taking some poke from this Drogos.
Headhunter's been popped. Kanessa on the high ground. Here comes the Dragon Punch as well. It's rolling through, but not sure he likes what he sees. FRZ God just decides to back it up, salvos his own back line to try and keep those DPS and support safe.
A Dread Serpent actually catches a couple of them, looking to follow up. 265 HP for FRZ God, so looking for a moment of healing as well. Nice stun onto the enemy, and the frontliner goes down. Overtime, 99%. Space Station Gaming should be able to capture this.
FSSG had to fight pretty hard for this one, though. It's a different animal. Rao Esports come out with a renewed vigor in this round, despite being down so heavily in this set. You have to say, they are not giving up.
Not at all, and especially knowing they had comeback mechanic, that was extra motivation for them. But nonetheless, SSG, they get point number 3. They're also in the same situation they were the last round, where they got enough kills where they can make this payload move past that first choke. Here's the true power. Finds the sniper in the back, doesn't quite kill off though.
Unfortunate there. Knocks Kanessa off the high ground, which just makes for an awkward exchange overall. You could see he was a little bit flustered. He didn't expect to be falling immediately after his true power. And R gets overpowered off the map. It's just Khan ultimate. It's just going to equate to a free kill there for Red. Nothing SSG can't recover from, and frankly, it's not something they weren't expecting.
About halfway through this push, and this is the time where it is a-okay to lose those lives and say, hey, well, at least he had to use the ultimate for it. We know when that ultimate does come through with the overpower that it is likely to result in a kill, so we just wipe it off, be okay, and then move on.
Especially on a character like Inara. Normally, you want to throw people up high in the sky when they're like Inara, when they don't have any mobility anyway to fight their way back onto a map. But if they are a front line like Ruckus, per se, with mobility skills, then you want to get them as close to the edge and dunk them into the kill volume, or you can just hold them up because, there's really no counterplay to Khan Ultimate. It's just a mechanical lift. You can't miss it. He's going to hold you there for 5 seconds, and 5 seconds is plenty of time for a professional level team to slay you.
And right now, SSG, they have a couple...
Another gourd. Right over its target destination.
Dyron, no! we don't have to know this. This is okay. He's having prime support play. We'll let you slide with that one, Dyron. Still a fan of your Damba. And right now, Rao end up losing Gervin. Here's the Hexafire on the high ground. Wants to rain it into the Khan, who doesn't die just yet, but with some good follow-up from his own shots is able to do so. 4 down. There's your Pip going to the wayside. A Dread Serpent just to enable some last-minute security, but as individuals spawn from Rao, there's so much blockading coming from Space Station Gaming. They push it through, and that's their set victory.
And that's just the dominance we've come to expect from a team like SSG. When you have like I said, this is an open bracket, sort of grassroots, come up from the bottom, start from nothing, scratch tournament. And when you've got SSG who not only win these things, but they go to LAN and they put up a good fight against the best teams in the world. When they enter this open bracket, you expect for them to go all the way through.
Getting the 3-0 and just swept their way through, and a lot of times we do see sweeps.
Nick and Barrick forever. I just now noticed that team name.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that's perfect. I love it. See, maybe you are just hiding your love.
No, I'm not. We're done.
You know, maybe you're like that kid in elementary school that picks on the girl because, you know, he actually has a crush on her and is just like, oh, I'm really being
and
mean.
Barrick's that girl I have a crush on. Yeah.
It is. He's got some good hair.
I
think that's what it is. You got the long hair. You like what he's got going on, but let's take a moment to let that sink in. We're going to take a bit of a break and allow him to just kind of bask in his feelings.
I'm glad I saw the team name. That's fun.
We'll see y'all in a bit, everybody.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the PGS. My name's Evan Rainday Rayner, and I'm with the illustrious William Gormizer Newberry the fifth. And looking at the 6th, the 7th, dreaming of the 8th one day when he settles down. Young Gormizers.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's what you're thinking about, your future and your future Gormizers that you'll be having right now.
I did say at one point that I was going to create a dynasty that would then one day take over. But you never know.
Paladins casting?
Well,
One day
I don't
take
know.
over
I don't
the
know where
realm?
it's going to take over. But
Imagine you casting with a littler you and just, then
That
now
could be-
send it back to the desk and then 2 more Gormizers over there. Some Gormizers in production.
I like being like I like the
You have to
idea
get
'cause, like,
started
in
early,
this,
man.
In this area, like I'm like super old too because like for it to be there, I have like the long Gandalf beard.
I think
in
that
my
could be a
eyes,
good look for
yeah.
you. I think that could be a good look for you guys. Welcome to the EU PGS side of things. We've got Sour Team and Blazing Asars, and as you probably know now, we are live on all platforms. So check out live.paladins.com to be able to get all of the information on where to watch or watch it there. And if you're watching out, you've done it the right way. You've already done the thing, so
True.
you don't have to worry
You're
about
already
it.
here.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
Don't have to go anywhere else.
Time to see some Blazing Asars though. It's been a minute. And I think didn't they join us at the LAN, or was
Yeah.
this? Yeah,
They came through.
yeah. And they were We Love Gaming at the time. Did not get a win, and unfortunately, actually, well, not unfortunately, but they got 4-0'd. I think all games by Gangstars.
Yes.
So they did not make it to being able to play on screen, but they did play.
And it's in this area, and I like if you looked at the bracket, Sour Team had beat Team Cryptic. It was always Blazing Asars, Cryptic, and now Sour Team. That's always just been the 3 European
Sour cream.
punching each other.
Okay.
Not Sour Cream. We're not back on that again.
How many
Pulling
of you
it back.
guys like Sour Team? I'm kidding. We did a poll yesterday.
I like Sour Team.
Yeah, I like.
Not
Sour.
a big fan of Sour Cream.
Not a big fan either, to be honest. But I know 67% of Mixer chat is, so that's all I'm going to say. We've got Maven, Makoa Band, so the double M's going down, and Terminus and Cassie as well. Sour Team first pick, and it's going to be the Inara. Hussars can bounce back here. Khan's still available, and he's been very prioritized in North America, as well as Drogos and EU. Obviously, still good options for front lines, but Khan's going to be selected here along with the Dragon.
And that one's kind of interesting to me because Khan, I feel like, has been this contested point where it's just like some teams want him. They really want him.
Some teams
but
love
other
him.
teams don't even care.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, just go ahead, take him. But I think he offers so much, especially when you have something, if you can get Genos on the same side. I mean, there's just so much just buffed damage on your team if you get the 2 of
Yeah.
them that there's nothing you can really do to deal with it. Having the Drogos with a Fusillade, get a Conch-Out in there, and he's going to be hitting hard.
A lot of combinations, too. I mean, you have movement speed potential on your Battle Shout. You've got your own CC immunity and damage immunity, healing. You're pairing that with other champions, and that snowball starts to take effect in ways you don't always often assume. So it is dangerous to leave Khan and just not forget about him, so to speak. But Sour Team really seem to be going for an interesting triple DPS here with the Buck, Leon, and Bomb King doing all of the damage, and Hussars going for a more traditional double tank with Fernando and Khan, augmenting that with a healer, and then Drogos and Shaolin for some AoE pressure, and obviously some projectiles that can be very, very deadly.
And I think Khan is in that area that you kind of need the double tank. Like Inara, you can run her solo, you can put someone with her, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Khan, you don't really want to put him
risky.
alone. You really want to have someone that's going to be like, okay, I can stand on the point for you, maybe fight a little bit more. You're going to be off on the side. You can fight well. You have good kit, but you're not going to be our main tank. And it's just not going to work well if you are our main tank.
And here you go. Activating Battle Shout grants 24% movement speed for 3 seconds.
They zoom in.
And Hope Guard, a great one as well. Open Fire got buffed, so instead of 2, it's now 4 ammo. So it's a nice little 4 ammo. And, you know, it makes a difference for Khan. So it's a nice little 1-pointer. Plate Mail Never Surrender always taken as well. So it's Blazing Star starting off on the right side. Gormeister looking for a fight. Smutney with an early fireball here, getting it going. And look at this, the Commander's Grab already on a Nino Sassalin, but he's just going to bulk up here, recover, and make it out, at least for now.
Honestly, that kind of helps him get out. It put him from an area where he was surrounded by 2 or 3 and puts him in a point where, okay, I can just walk up the stairs, meet my team. K-Koner's going to be able to pick up a couple kills right there. Nino Sassalin more. And that was not the clash Blazing Hussars sought when they came into that.
And I mean, look at that right there. He's getting damaged. He's getting planted. Not a lot of people that could survive a planted. Buck is one of the few, especially with bulk up and this reconstruction, this deep breath kind of build that's been run. Koner's obviously doing so much damage on his side of things, but rapid sustain, deep breath, reconstruction, it's just these combinations mean for a lot of healing, a lot of the time, and a lot of damage reduction, so you might as well be tickling the old Hitman here versus actually hurting it.
And deep breath, I think, is that big one where it's just, I mean, even earlier I was commenting on it.
Yeah.
You hit that recovery sometimes, you just take that enlightenment. You can just body out, spread it as much as you want. You could shoot me as much as you want. I'm Buck, and I am here to stay, here to stand. And with the way things go with that, I mean, that cuts down a significant chunk of damage. Shaolin's not going to be able to just one-trick you. You're not going to be one-shot or two-shot by the Drogos.
Right.
You're going to have a much bigger presence here as the Buck.
Yeah, and this is always a really important thing for triple DPS to have a self-sustaining DPS.
Yeah.
You know, you need Genos to be able to apply a couple marks to a few, but also you need that mark onto the healer at all, the front line at all times, because they need to sustain. So Buck fills that role as well as Zen very well, because they can take care of themselves, get out of a fight, and then get back in without needing an astral mark until one is available for them. Good Koner's here, firing away at Smutney though. Grumpy Bomb at this point looks like it could almost get pushed in. It's 90% of the way.
Going to be able to find the double kill right there. Second going to pick up a second kill for it. Zarini cleans up Smutney, and they just walk it on in. Blazing Hussars, again, a team that has been contesting, I think having a rough time when it came down to Team Cryptic and now Sour Team with the way things have gone in the past. A lot of what happened at LAN, they got here, they qualified, they won the one phase they needed to win to get to LAN.
Yeah.
And then the LANs did not go the way they had really envisioned.
Well, I mean, losing. Of course not.
No.
You know, no one envisions
Losing,
that.
not just losing, but first rounding.
First rounding, losing, not getting any points in your, you know, all these things are not what you want. But it doesn't mean that that defines you. This is an experience that should then be a foundation for where you can move forward from. And Blazing Hussars know that. Sour Team looking just really strong today. And, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the caliber, that's the difference of skill between these two teams. What it could mean is that Sour Team's lineup is working a lot more effectively. I'll tell you what, this left side fight is going to get dominated by a Bomb King, especially if Smutney can't hit that fireball. That's the second time around the fireball hasn't done as much as he wants. And the Dragon Punch is coming in as well, and probably looking for Inara. The wall's not going to save it. Through time and space, maybe the savior. He's lining it up. He gets a little bit of damage, but not enough. Minchmeyer, Kamaker, and Graphy S finding kills themselves, and Blazing Hussars come out blazing in round 2.
Right now, Minchmeyer has his work cut out for him. Needs a lot of healing done to get his team back up to full, but they're going to be comfortable. Comeback mechanic online for them. So on this point, they're going to be able to grab this no problem. Zarini back, though. They got a lot of kills early, so it's actually given Sour Team the ability to come back one more time. If they can just get a couple picks like they just did there on second, they should be able to hold on to this.
89% Dread Serpent as well. That extra ammo from Kamaker is going to pay off today. The Battle Shout as well. So he's going to heal himself up and find the kill on Nino Sassel. A big trade there. Graphy S finds the kill on a Koner's. Now Zarini on the point, still 39%. The seismic crash, they might have just let it go as well. It doesn't hit the ground second with the enlightenment, but the only one enlightened seems to be him as he goes back to the afterlife to think about what the meaning of his life was. Blazing Hussars find their first point of the day.
Stocks with the triple kill throughout all of that, and that was really the key moment. There was a point in there where there was an Immortal, and I was kind of curious because I was like, man, that doesn't seem too great. You're all half health. You're going to come out of this and just get one hit. But it was the kills they picked up, Stocks and Drogos being able to kind of come together and just pick up one here, one there, and as long as they're all gone, you don't have to worry about your health bar afterward. You come in, you move in. Again, Maldamba heals them up. Now, though, they're having a little bit of a rough start getting the payload moving, but they've had comfort in fight. Blazing Hussars have shown they can do it. They just have to regroup and figure out when.
In round one, what happened, right, was that there was no ultimates to fight, so they controlled that room. What really shifted is the fact that Inara got deleted by Graphies. You got to look at Drogos' impact here and changing the game completely for Blazing Hussars. He is a kind of swing vote for them. And when you have a duo DPS, not a triple DPS, you do have to have those two damage dealers really play their roles every single round. Otherwise, there's no wiggle room, unlike the team from Sour Team.
They have to be keyed in, and they can't miss a lot of shots. You can afford like one or two, but there's been moments, and we've seen this in the past, where your rocket goes to the left, your rocket goes to the right, the next one goes to the left again, and it's just, once you miss 3, that's your reset moment. You have to kind of go for it. Kamikaze actually kind of augmenting himself, kind of fits that role of a half DPS, I'd say here, so it's kind of like a 2.5 area, where I'd say he has enough damage to make a difference, but he really needs Stocks or someone to follow up on.
But you know, that's what you do need as well. I mean, the components of this traditional lineup, and the reason why front lines were always, you know, just easier in Paladins, because they can do plenty of damage. So can supports. Dread Serpent here trying to shake things up as well. That's a nice setup for Kokoners to find Minchmeyer, and that's the healer gone, so Graphies got to be careful. He's sitting on an 11 streak on the backside, just waiting for his out-of-combat healing to start regenning, and hoping that no one starts to get into the back line to aggress onto him. He feels safe about his position, but Kamikaze, 415 health, is going to battle shout that away.
See, all he needs is a little bit of healing. That's going to come through immediately. With this ult, if they need to, that's going to be a free kill to try and get this push in. But it's really this awkward area of, do you want to commit this right now? You have Drogos as well. Do you need to get rid of Inara that badly? Or are you going to try and ride and push this in just on your own merit? With the Bomb King getting kills like that, though, it might not work the way you want.
But he trades out, and this is the thing, Kamikaze is still there. They still got the big presence of 2 front lines, and this is where you're going to start to really, you know, snowball these pushes. It may not help for the set-up fight in round 1, round 2, round 3 at the beginning. And a great wall there by Zarini. Just shuts it all down. I mean, that's, you know, I thought I was going to continue talking there. Zarini just walls it off, says, no, end of the conversation, see you later. But I think just a great setup here, showcase of what Stocks did this round, and most likely Graphies, in my opinion, how his impact shifted the tide. I wonder if we'll see that again later.
Just the way things went for him. It felt, I mean, strong from Blazing Hussars. I don't know any other word for it. What they did was exactly what they needed at the time. The question is really, can they bring it back? Those 3 kills right there were the only kills Stocks has. Graphies is the one that's really kind of, I want to say, scooping up the rest of them. It's going between him and Kamikaze. So if Stocks can get something like that again, maybe it's the big difference. But the question is, what is his damage and where is that going?
I think you need an Enlightenment here onto this Dragon Punch, or you need a King Bomb in preparation for the Dragon Punch at the same time. We've seen this interaction here. Dragon Punch charge, then the King Bomb charge. There's an overpower from Khan. They're trying to find something. The Inara knows that she is in a dangerous position with all of these champions here. Stocks finding that kill on the Nino. It's sometimes better to just die right here because, of course, you have no support. But Zarini finds a miracle kill there on a Kamikaze, drops down, somehow trades his life away.
And that choice to drop actually makes a difference. Does end up dying, but being able to pick up at least 1 in return and get a little bit of space, a little bit of room on the point makes that opening. 3-1, so there's a comeback mechanic again for Blazing Hussars. All they have to do is stand there for a little bit. Diamond Space just barely off the mark right there. That 18% is going to be not necessarily a saving grace, but at least a little bit of a start to try and even this up, because that's 67 and rising.
And honestly, it felt a little bit more like Nino's just support. And here it is. This is where you need an Enlightenment. This is where you need something from Second to help it out, and that is it. Second shows up at the last second, finds a kill. Now Seismic Crash can come out if you want it. It's going to go. The Immortal's there, slither away, but there's 2 kills. Second, Megiddo, and now Second again, trying to find Stocks. The double for Second. 3 kills in the round. Huge plays from the Leon.
Now 54%. This is going to give Blazing Hussars time to come back, but you can kind of see even doing exactly what I think you need to do when you idle, spinning around on your horse thinking, man, I'm a lone Drogos looking at a full 5-man team. What can I do to get in here? Smutny not even able to approach the point.
It was too obvious. I mean, Koners has played this map a couple times before. Sour Team with the victory. They shut it down. And it was really interesting into that game. A lot faster than I thought it would be because of Zarini's wall in round 2. And then, you know, that turnaround from Second. in that fight. Great stuff from them. Great stuff from Mogito to zone away so that Nino could recover and not die there, lose their buck again for the second time in the round. I think it was overall a really good play from Sour Team.
Yeah, it was just, again, those key moments that really made the difference. And it was a bunch of small plays. It wasn't anything like, hey, I came in and got a pentakill, and of course we won off of that. It was, I put up a wall at the right time in the right place. I happened to drop down in this area and get a kill, which really gave my team a little bit of room to work with so they couldn't stand on the point and get that extra 20% they needed. Just a few seconds on there.
The value.
That kill doesn't come through. Could have ended up being another point for Blazing Hussars.
It was value. I mean, every single thing they did seemed to somehow get a trade to even out or make sure things went in their favor. The one round it didn't was the round we saw. They didn't work out for them, and obviously Blazing Hussars got their first point there. So Sour Team lead the day. It's a best of 5. You guys know that, or you may not know that if you're just joining us for the PGS for the first time in forever. But it's right above us. Yeah, best of 5 right there. I actually, oh, my hand. It's gone.
If you reach real far, the Jaguar statue can actually come to life and bite your hand off.
Right down, right here is just a pool of water. If you're thirsty, that's how I get. That's
the only way we can actually drink it.
You want some water? You just take it from here. So that's
you have to go to Jaguar Falls and just hope for the best.
You just have to hope for the best. Remember when humans were drinking water like this? I mean, people still do. That's still a common thing. In third world countries, and indigenous
when you have to go to a place where like it's literally a pool of water that you have to pull from. Yeah, I can see it.
I can see that being a cool time of life. If you get out of it, you're like, all right, you're guaranteed to get out of it, but you're gonna spend like 3 months basically lost in like the Amazon or something, living. You'll have that experience to take from for the rest of your life.
Sponsored
you will
by Bear
live.
Grylls.
Yeah, you will live. It'll be a great story, but you're gonna have to go through it. It may not be fun, but you will get through it.
I guess like if you go into it knowing that you will live, I think that makes a big difference. I think that's the huge key. Like
you don't know what's
if
gonna
you say, hey, you're gonna go live 3 months in the desert, I'm like,
I mean, you can wake up to a snake, cuddling your undersides, but at the end of the day, you will get through it.
As long as I know I live.
I don't know, man.
If that is like a guarantee coming into it.
I don't know. I might say I'll pass there. Sour Team going again with a triple form of a triple DPS with this Buck and Bomb King, and then the Fernando now augmenting that secondary tank. They're trying to match basically the Fernando, that last pick, shifting to be able to support what is a very damage-oriented composition already from Blazing Hussars, and the fact that they've got the Ruckus filling that role, the tertiary either damage and also that secondary tank. It's a very flexible champion. A little bit of health nerfs in this last patch, but still able to do the dang thing.
I think this is probably one of the better scenarios for Sour Team with the way they were drafting it. Of course, you give up the Makoa, which is probably never an area you really want to be on the receiving end of. But you're on Jag Falls, and you've got Inara, who can just run straight to the point, or need be, maybe back off a little bit, control that area. Mogito in this scenario is just going to go around the side. He's going to play kind of the con role from last game. He's going to, hey, you're all in this tight corridor. Here's a fireball. I'm going to hit 2, 3. If you're really lucky, 5. Feels really good.
Yeah, you know about that.
Still flexing on it.
Yeah, still flexing
on it. Still feeling good about it.
5 people. Boy, oh boy. What a fireball. And, they see an opportunity here, but it's a rough opportunity. They both go in to push Nino, but Nino here, unless he goes down, it's not worth the push, and they do invest a lot. They do get a lot back. Mogito hiding in the corner. Look at Coners. This is really to support Mogito and the team fight. He's holding that down, and meanwhile, they've got 51%. Stocks get a triple kill, so that's all good for Blazing Hussars. The problem is Sour Team are going to have another chance at this.
The biggest issue I have with that is how Sour Team kind of approached the fight. It felt like they split up, they went all over the place, and they didn't have one single plan. It was kind of like, okay, well, you just run left, we'll run right, and we'll just see what happens. Because of that, Blazing Hussars just kind of easily pick them apart. There's 1 here, 2 over here, and then a lone Inara left standing on the point.
And when you have that lone Inara, she's sad. She needs some friends. Graphies wants to be her friend, but not the kind of friend Zarini's looking for. One of those friends that's actually not really too good for you. Dragon Punch here. Stocks definitely being a friend of Kokoners, whether he likes it or not. Dragon Punch, salvo on a Zarini. This is looking much better from Blazing Hussars. And again, thanks to this Drogos coming in big.
This is a frightening showing from Stocks right now. I mean, this is one of those things that you go into the next game and you immediately ban Drogos. You just say, I cannot let someone have this. And this is going to be one of his better maps, but the way he's playing it, he's already charged 1 ult up. He's got a triple kill. He's on an 8 streak without dying right now.
It's rough.
The man is doing work.
And part of it is just you have this round, and a lot of what happens in games that I notice is teams have a difficulty, unless they're at just a top tier. We're talking Navis, Fanatics, things like that, to really just be unwilling to stop a fight when they know they can't win it. And sometimes it works to get that 50%, the 70%. We see Virtus Pro do it all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone dies. Elvin Pass still on the point. He's been there since Season 1, and he's got 80% on the objective. But what Fnatic will do is if they lose one right there, they'll all jump off the map. They'll all say, okay, whatever. It's done. And that sometimes helps you to get and reestablish your momentum rather than doing that thing where you, one person comes in, we trickle. One person comes in, we trickle. And it just never ends up getting back your way.
Now, finally having a little bit of regrouping, you can see Sour Team pushing back. But coming into this, and the way they need to hold on to this is pretty much exactly what you said. Stay as a group,
right.
Hold on to the point. And even though you're looking at the payload, you can really hold on to the same area that you would be looking for if you were trying to just defend this objective. Maybe don't get too aggressive on the Blazing Hussars, and you can keep them locked down. You're going to have to pay attention, again, to the left path as well as the middle, but most of the time you're going to have vision on them. You should be able to keep track. But then, again, Zarini is completely off by himself.
And as you look at the items here, again, noticing just the switch up, focusing really on the Makoa, the Ruckus. Kokoner's going for that Wrecker style. We've seen a lot of Bomb Kings, even in the face of a Fernando, opting for that Cauterize and saying that this is more important for me. Kokoner's really just saying these shields are, I'm the guy who's going to deal with the shields here. Genos, Buck, there is no real great Inara, Fernando, there's no real great alternative to dealing with the shields that Kamikaze and Smutny have, so I will take that on, and I think that's more of just playing for the team versus maybe maximizing his personal kill potential.
Blazing Hussar is going to be able to collapse on Nino Sassala and open up a lot of room. Kokoners gets a kill, gets 2 kills as he gets aggressive right there, and I think, again, that was the play they needed at the time it came out. You need that little bit of room, just push them back and make sure they can't ride that payload in a little bit further. With 20 seconds left, you can touch down, get overtime, but it's not going to be enough to feel super comfy on the push.
And what I like, too, about Blazing Hussars and Sour Team, both of them, is that they're sticking to their guns. They're saying, we're going to take our Drogos, we're going to try and play with that. Stocks gets round 1 here. And they say, okay, you got me, you got me. Kokoners, though, he's like, I'm going to play this Bomb King. I feel confident in this. And Kokoners is kind of finishing round 1 the way Stocks did. It was the same thing last round. They had the Drogos on Graphies. Kokoners played this BK. They're willing to test each other's skill levels, allowing these dangerous Bomb Kings and Dragons to be on the field and just say, beat me with your best punch.
I would say, if you're going to lose any point in the game, the best one's probably to lose the first one, as long as you are not negative.
Right.
If you lose that first one and your team tilts, that's a completely different story. But if you are in this area where you're Sour Team and you're like, well, we know we can beat them, we lose that round, let's adapt. Let's figure out what went wrong, approach this one completely differently, maybe try to take care of this Drogos who's causing a lot of trouble for us. That's going to be Nino Sassala's main job, but
that hasn't died yet.
He got taken care of the entire time, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the Buck to traverse that.
Yeah, and this is one where I get a little worried if I'm Blazing Hussars, because you say, what round is full duration, 5 minutes long, we're not going to get a death onto our Dragon in competitive play, at high-level play against good players. That is not normal, so I don't know if you can count on that happening every time, and that makes me a little scared. But here's the Dragon going in for what could be his 12th elimination in a row, and he's going to find it onto the most important champion he could, the Inara. Again, Blazing Hussars off to the races.
Kamikaze managing to pick up a lot of kills there without using the Hexafire, and now has that tool still in his kit to be able to either defend or push just a little bit harder. If you're Blazing Hussars here, you're not really worried about Sour Team. You have a really good draft for the map, and so far, this Inara, this Fernando, the Buck, the Genos haven't done anything to really scream, look at me. You have Kokoners every now and then making that next step play,
definitely.
But it's not enough, again, to rely on.
Yeah, they're not getting much out of this Buck. Unfortunately, Nino's been kind of quiet today, and I think they need a little bit more from him. He dies again to Graphies, and it just could just be the Zen winning that Buck matchup over and over again. So they need a special performance from Kokoners, and they're getting a special one from Stocks, yet to die, but no Dragon Punch. So this has got to be careful. The Salvo, he actually finds a little bit more than he may want to bite off here. Fusillade, though, almost taking down Megiddo, and he switches targets. Beautiful, beautiful play. Could have gone for the fire spit to get Fernando, but says, you know what? It's more important to get my triple kill by prioritizing the point, and it turns into essentially a quadra for him. Smutny getting the last kill, and again, no deaths for the side of Stocks.
I feel like just last game I had said you can't rely on Stocks getting triple kills, and I'm really starting to rethink that statement. Because that's the second round in a row that he's managed to not only pull one out, but he's going, so far, no deaths. 116 health. Zarini finally shuts him down, gets a good chunk of ult as well because of that kill. But still, I mean, okay, finally you get rid of him once. Is that going to be enough to kind of snowball?
Also, here's the issue, right, with this. You know, you've given the Makoa away. It's money. I want to shout you out, too. Great game from him thus far. Has not died yet. And that really says that you're seeing a great pairing between him and his healer, because he can't do it without getting healed by Minchmeyer. So Minchmeyer and Smutny really working well together here. But you have no Shaolin. You have no Cassie. I mean, I see EU, despite them saying ban Makoa all day long, I see EU teams play Makoa more than any other region in the LANs, in PPL. And one of the things that they usually do, though, is they get just as equal threats on the board. I'm noticing that this Buck is not feeling the role where a Shaolin might, a Cassie might, when normally, you know, the Makoa would be picked and those things would be open. So it's just an interesting kind of dynamic that maybe Sour Team getting a little outdrafted here as well as outplayed.
Especially with the way things are going. I mean, even there, finally getting rid of Kamaker, you get rid of stocks, you start rolling a couple of things back into your favor.
Yeah.
But that's the first time I think I've seen Nino Sassala's name pop up on the left side of the kill feed. Every single time he's jumped in, he has some decent moments, but it's just never the target he wants. He wants to go for the Drogos, but if Drogos looks at him with Fusillade and sees him before that shotgun damage is actually going to hit, then it's going to be an easy kill for stocks. If you have Xin waiting for you, it's just not something you can do. You're not healing enough. Your damage reduction isn't enough to fight into 3 members. You really can only take a one-on-one.
I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of teams competing at a high level. I think this game has been relatively competitive, and so I think this has been a nice match to watch, to commentate, and to see how it transforms. I'm curious how Nino's going to respond. Has not had the best of rounds. Has been relatively kind of countered, despite being essentially on paper the counter to stocks. You know, when your main threat is the one carrying, the one you're supposed to handle, that does feel like, you know, some pressure starts to mount. Comms start to shift that way and say, how do we get Nino in a spot to do this? But you can't take anything away from Blazing Asars and the guarding, the ruckus, the impact that he's having on Kamaker's side, and through time and space coming out. It's not going to find anything here.
Fusillade rockets are just doing work from the background. When they're hitting right now, Stocks, I want to say in a rare moment, he's going to miss. Nino Sassala finally getting the kill that he's been looking for all game. Kamaker in this position where he has a Hexafire, perfect for trying to close out an overtime, but him going down, K-Coners again stepping up to bat when his team needed him.
Overtime, and that's going to subside with Sour Team in the leading games, tied here against Blazing Asars. This is one where if you're Blazing Asars, you know, you really need to win this round. I can see the confidence. They are a game down. They didn't have a great performance in this last game prior. Just kind of more of a lucky kill on that second one because Mojito turns his shield. He's facing him as the rocket goes and he immediately turns right as the rocket's about to hit. But as you see, Conconer's still leading the damage charts, still doing very well. They just need to pick it up somewhere. Someone else has got to step up.
It's the beginning of each round. Every single time, that's where things have gone wrong. You have Sour Team approach the fight.
Yeah.
One person gets isolated or one person. And the last one, it was necessarily like Nino Sassala went around the edge all the way to the back line, but he didn't find anything. And by the time he finally saw someone, he gets hit to half health. He's not able to fight anymore. So it's really key, I think, for them to try and take a fight where they don't isolate themselves.
Look what they do here, Gore, though. They switch Coners and Nino. So Coners goes left, as well as Megiddo holding down this dark room. And now they get control of this. And the Bombi, oh, that's an unfortunate Grumpy Bomb, because that's not going to stun anybody. Stocks finds a kill off of that. So, you know, that's one of those things where you never know how important that is. Kamaker can't stand and do that as safely if that Grumpy Bomb hits. So, man, little things making big differences here despite Sour Team mixing it up.
And that is 100%. That's not even like, oh, he misplayed or he didn't recognize it was going to go there. That, well, I guess it was he misplayed. He was too timid. There were too many people on the point, and you're like, man, if I take too many steps forward, this could be my death.
Or too fast, right?
But
wants to do it too quickly.
You had to get just a little bit further for that Grumpy Bomb. And even if it just falls into the cubby right there, it at least has more presence on the point. It's at least going to connect there. Where it was, the range was just too bad. Now you get a Dragon Punch. Nino Sassala once again has no effect in this fight. But that is a big pickup.
But you know what? It's not enough, man. Megiddo's died, and Zarini's died. It's been everything. Smutny's still staying alive. And again, thank you, Minchmeyer. I'll take that one. And Blazing Asars look like they're going to take this game. Sour Team just have not figured it out. And Blazing Asars certainly have great stuff on both ends. And we haven't seen the Zen a lot, but Graphies has been making a big difference in this fight.
And this is just that rough area where Sour Team have been getting tons of defenses. And when it comes down to it, it's a lot of, you don't have the fight from Drogos, the fight from Zen, the same on a push as you do around the point.
Right.
Whereas Sour Team, okay, great. You're going to run into Bomb King, run into Buck. That's exactly what they want. They want to bring you into them. Right now, they're off to a good start. If they can ride this momentum in, they easily take this. Otherwise, they'd have nothing to really worry about because, again, Grafies, a double kill there, and he's been doing that consistently through this game.
Yeah, and he's really, you know, and you take a look at KDA's here, relatively positive on his end, 10-5. You know, they don't have it. Koner's doing his thing, 10-8, right? But Stocks is such an outlier. No one's competing with him. And then Grafies is giving you good numbers. He's giving you a good game. Nino's 5-10. That's the opposite. It's basically a 4-point switch there, and that's not what you want to see. So, you know, if they win this game, Sour Team, it's because of a brilliant, brilliant one round, but not for the course of their play throughout this.
The way things just went, a couple kills finally picked up there for Blazing Asars. Or not for Blazing Asars, for Sour Team. Again, just a little bit of room to push back. A minute left, so it's not the end of the world for Blazing Asars. But Grafies picks up 2. The entire time they're fighting, they're looking at anyone except this Zen. Drogo's put such a big target on his back that Grafies is literally invisible unless they happen to notice him. If he stands on the side and he plays it the way he has been,
You're right.
no one sees him. So it's just that damage that ticks down. You're like, man, how did I die there?
The Invisible Man. He's Kevin Bacon in that movie that I forget the name of, where he's invisible. You haven't seen it.
That's, yeah, I have not, actually.
All right.
Nor do I know the name.
I know Blake has seen that movie. He's got to have. But I forget the name of the Kevin Bacon movie where he is invisible. Hollow Man. There it is.
I was going to say Invisible Man, but I felt like that might have been
You know,
too
that
much.
wouldn't have been a bad guess. You were 50% right. Not as far as letters, but as far as words, you were 50% right.
Man was definitely included.
Hollow Man was a pretty interesting movie. Actually kind of a cool one. I kind of want to rewatch that. Directed by Paul something. Hey,
Is that Fairhoven?
Fairhoven. I'm going to have to start charging for this. Paul, talk to me. 2 seconds left. Sour Team trying to defend, and Stocks is still alive, and that's a problem for them. A beautiful salvo. Nino's going to just use his recovery to get back up. They don't have Grafies, so maybe Koners can make the play, but oh no, it's Stocks making a big play. Can he find 2? No, it's not enough time. No front line, and that will do it. He'll still get the kill. Boy, Stocks has turned it up, huh?
It's just gross, disgusting. I don't know. Like, it's remarkably good from Stocks is in 18-6. So, you know, that first round, that, you know, no death where everything goes your way. I think he hit 12 eliminations without dying there.
Yeah.
Is probably the best one that he could have had, which is a great start for all this. But he's been consistent since then. And it's like, it went from spectacular Drogos that is going to win the game for you to back down to just, okay, well, now he's just a good Drogos player.
Which is
and
dangerous.
The rest of the team stepped up.
It's just as dangerous. You know, a good Drogos player is just as dangerous, man. This is an interesting one.
It's
here.
scary.
What do you say? Stocks, he's been an MVP for sure in Game 2. Stepped up in ways that we hadn't seen before. Stone Keep looked like a shade of who they were, a hollow version, so to speak, of the man that has showed up today. Dragon Punch is available. Fire Spit's going to be off the mark. Dread Serpents is well used, as well as it seemed like, no, Seismic Crash available. It's the time and space that's gone down. Nino Sassler has to stay alive, and somehow this round is looking a little bit better. Grafies is going to be in trouble. 2 big shots missed, really only 1, and that wouldn't have done it. Grafies would have won that duel no matter what. This is looking like it is going to be a Blazing Hussars victory as a full wipe.
Wow.
On to Sour Team commences.
And Sour Team, I mean, I like the way they approach that fight. When they get into it, you have Nino Sassla as well as Inara standing on the point, getting up to 54%. They're just holding on to that. Dragon's Punch. It's a good way to get back there. That's all it's going to really need to be. He didn't need to go in and fight. He would have died, actually, if he goes in there. So, honestly, not the worst-case scenario to fall back.
You know, I'm a little worried here because they're going to touch. Now, something crazy could happen. You've got to have a huge play. Go left corner. You got to get Stocks. He gets him, but what are you doing? What are you doing? There it is. He got both. Oh, my God. I can't believe it. Koners. I thought he was trading into the front line. Says, who cares about the Dragon? He gets both. Sour Team, full wipe. And they have that one good round, and they win the game. Oh. Am I a little bit sour about my team if that happened to me?
That is the worst feeling. I mean, you're at 96% too.
Been there.
And it's just tail in. And again, I like the way they approached it. And I think the big winner in that is the Bomb King, obviously, at the end. But
Unbelievable trade.
54%.
So risky.
On the point. You get there. The way they played that early on was a different approach to that round. And even though, again, it was missed shots, I think, at the beginning of the round that lost them the point, then, okay, we're not going to miss any more shots. Let's just go ahead and get 2.
And what's insane is that his Grumpy Bomb he placed before he ulted
Yeah.
ends up stunning Kamaker so he can kill him. The first one is towards the Warder's field, which makes me think, what? He must know Kamaker's behind him. And then Kamaker shows up, he gets stunned, and then he throws the one bomb. I was thinking, best value here, you give up your life for stocks.
Yeah.
And you see Kamaker's low, your Grumpy Bomb lives to tell another story, and you hope your team can finish it off. But no. Coners, man, oh man. It doesn't show in the stats, but what an MVP play, what a decision, what an execution to be able to get that victory.
And it just comes down to the fact that, once again, you see the one moment. That's all you need to be able to step forward and really make the difference. Now, going into Bright Marsh, this is going to be Blazing Asar's pick. Sour team maybe feeling a little bit more uncomfortable after the way that last one went. It's a lot closer, I think, than they thought coming into this.
I agree. I think this is, unfortunately, you don't have the privilege of being down and comfortable. And, a Sour team here, despite feeling like, oh, they almost got that game, are 2 games up.
Yeah.
And Hussars, despite knowing they dominated, cannot feel good right now.
No.
They are knowing that elimination is about to happen. And so they have to basically play without that in their minds. Just take it one game at a time.
This is the area of the set where if you can't isolate this game from the rest, this is a 4-0 for Sour Team because you are just tilted. Because you come into it, it's that ranked game where you just had a terrible loss, and you're like, I'm going to queue one more because I can't end it on that. And then you go into it and you're missing shots, you're not playing well, and it's just that mentality of this game isn't isolated. I'm still affected by what happened to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big key. You do look at that having to get washed clean. Some pros out there say I'm extremely good at resetting. What a valuable actual skill that is to be able to just really look at every game as its new opportunity, as a new character, as a new way to outplay and perform. But in a set like this against teams that know each other, gosh, it's got to be harder to do than it is to say. Bomb King grabbed here for Sour Team. It is looking like another triple DPS, and Hussars not going to match them. They like the Inara. They like the Ruckus this time. First time with the Inara this set.
I like a lot of what they've been able to pick up. Both sides have a really good draft for Bright Marsh, but I think coming out of it, unless we see, I'm assuming Stocks on the Drogos start out this game the exact same way he started out the last one, I don't know if it's going to be able to swing as heavily in their favor. That's the kind of play after a loss that really gives you, again, that kind of mental uplift.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's going to be back on there. But I'm kind of curious. I mean, this is going to be the map. I want to say Jaguar Falls tends to lean more towards Drogos. I think Bright Marsh leans a little bit more towards the Bomb King.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think that both can have amazing moments. But, yeah, gosh, it really is just – I mean, and at this point, Blazing Stars, what do you do? Graphies goes 10-5. You get 2 KDA from here. You get about 4 KDA from Stocks. Smutney basically never dies. Minchmeyer heals his butt off. Kamaker's holding down corners and angles perfectly, and you still lose.
I think watching K-Coners
what do you
here
do?
is going to be big.
Yeah.
Because he has Royal Decree 5, so every time he detonates, he's just going to be able to reload like that. Get 6 bombs in an instant. To the point where he's going to have 12 bombs out at any time. He's going to be dealing incredulous amounts of damage.
Yeah, but the most important aspect of that thing we saw was that a salvo spit landed on the Bomb King and did not kill him. And he was about to get killed, but Second shows up at the last second yet again to help find the kill onto Stock. So this is going to be a really important matchup. The Leon onto the Drogos instead of really the Buck pressure only. It is going to be very important for Leon and Second to have big plays like he did on Stone Keep in order to give Sour Team the final victory to move on in the set. And if you're Graphies, you just need to do what you did last game, and so far he's off to the races with a 4 streak.
Doing whatever he can. 189 health, though, so it's definitely a dangerous position. And they're not looking to the side. You're going to see Nina Zassala come up, but a Billow is perfectly timed. And even with a shotgun, you can't outweight that. You're going to have to figure out where you want to go, and you're stuck between 2.
And, I mean, Minchmeyer hits him with a heal. I mean, it's just great play from Minchmeyer all around today. I'm really impressed with him. But at the end of the day, Second shows up on this Leon, it's almost game over for me. You have too many threats. Buck, obviously a threat. You just can't kill him fast enough, so that's a threat in general. But Second, anyone who could turn Leon into a carry machine, that's not normal. It's not normal Paladin. She's great, but if she's carrying, if she's making triple, quadra-kill plays all day, you just got a special player on that champion right now.
And just being able to apply death and taxes is kind of like normally what you see as her role. That's the minimum you have to do. Hit right-click every now and then, and you're solid. The fact that you have anything that goes up from there obviously makes her a lot more potent, I want to say, for your team. Like you said, once you start getting doubles, triples, even to the point of quadras, you hit these key enlightenments, you change the pace of the game, and that really shuts down something. Like if you have a Drogoz who's like, again, going off, you have one good enlightenment, and that stops him in his tracks.
And that's the thing, there's so much swing potential in that, and there's so much good counter onto what Stox is doing. The problem with Leon is, what she does is she hits for less than Cassie. I mean, you got to look at her directly as a damage class related to Cassie and her availability. Cassie is the first pick and Leon isn't because of the fact that Leon hits for so much lower, right? 400. Cassie hits for 680 to sometimes 782 with Luminary. Leon's hitting for 400, and she's hitting, you have to hit more. You have to hit 2 times for every one Cassie does, and Zarini and Kokona are saying, let us take the weight off you a second, as Raine describes the issues you got going on. And Sour Team continue to team wipe here. But the other thing, Gore, that is the difference, I think, is that just the ease of success Cassie can have versus the difficulty Leon has to kind of perform in order to have that same level of success. That's the issue for me.
And it's one of those things that I think, again, when you look at the mechanical level of these players, when you look at where their aim is, they're not missing most of their in-hands. Every now and then they're going to miss maybe 1 or 2, but they will reset, hit, let's say, every 3 out of 4. Just 75% is relatively good. Then you add in the fact that Cassie, blast shot, it gives you a lot of leeway for left and right. You can hit that and even shoot at the ground and have it connect. Whereas Leon, again, even though there's some auto-aim in there, a lot of her kit relies on you being precise.
And I mean, has anyone ever said that presence is like a free skill? Like, think about presence versus blast shot. Blast shot's free. You can hit a blast shot blind. And as you see Smutny going into the seismic crash, it's not going to be enough. I think this is going to be a push. They've got to reanimate on Terminus, slither away, but Mitchmeyer can only do so much. It's going to be a 2-0 here. But I mean, you compare the difficulty of landing 700 to 800. I mean, blast shot 700, 800 for presence. Presence is not free. You got to aim that thing really well, and he's hitting them consistently. If you can do this on a Leon, that takes your game to the next level. Versus what kind of everybody can do on a Cassie.
Coming into this round, you don't have Enlightenment just yet, but it's at 86%, so you're going to have that relatively soon. Second's going to spend just a few seconds shooting in order to get that charged up. I love his name.
Yeah,
it's just so good for that.
It's a great name.
But Zarini, I think, is the big key in this. This is normally a map that I like. For the longest time, I always gave this as like the Inara Bomb King map. But I think Terminus has a much better place here. Just because when you come into the round with Reanimate, everyone's stuck in close range. Your axe is going to hit somebody.
Yeah.
And if you die, cool. They are all in the blast radius.
It's like the one map that you got to go to Terminus. You know what I mean? That in Jaguar Falls, Terminus has to go to you. The onus is on him. This one, he's like, everyone comes to me. It's beautiful. It's a new life. It's a new world.
Christmas in Brightmarsh.
I don't know if I love the Reanimate. But I do love the pressure it provides, and I love the capitalization that Second and Nino Sassala find off of it, and that is just as important, if not more important. It's a full team wipe because the whole team moves like a coordinated orchestra when the conductor says go, and that's Zarini in this case on an 8 streak.
It was literally that area of, okay, you stay in here with me, you're going to eat 4,000 damage. That is not comfortable. Or you go out there, where there's a Bomb King, there's a Buck, just waiting for you. A Leon, who is ready to shoot anyone who happens to get in the way. Unfortunately, they don't dismount Inara until just before she actually gets in the building. A Dread Serpent comes through. It's going to keep Zarini locked down, and now Nina Sassala's gone.
But he's got really a lot of power siphon left, and that is a problem, because now Kokoners is coming in. He's going to be able to get healed up by that Astral Mark, and Kokoners applying a ton of damage, forcing Kamikaze away. It is still overtime, and this is where Sour Team can, they take risks here. You could fully back off just a little bit. Don't need to get aggressive. Save, wait till Nino's back, then go in S4 at 99. But they try to go in and make a play, and now Nino has to do a lot against this Inara, and it's actually not enough time.
It was just that rare area, and I think it was actually, and I hate to put the onus onto one player, but it was where Kokoners was. I think he was in a good spot to try and fight, but I think he gets a little too aggressive.
That's what I'm saying.
He wants to go in a little bit too much.
Wait.
And it's just, again, patience, like you said. Charge up your ult. I mean, you were, I think it was at 90% at the tail end, like when he died, of being able to get that King Bomb up. So you have that takes a few more seconds to get it fully charged. You get
Right.
a couple more bombs. Then you go in. Then you make the play. You hit 2 or 3. Granted, with comeback mechanic, you really have to play against the timer. So it's very difficult to make that split decision.
That's why there is really no teams, I think, that do it so well, making that split decision.
Yeah.
Which I really like that phrase, by the way. The split incision decision. Incision as
It's
in
just to avoid saying seconds name it. Split second decision. No, you can't use it. Said second too many times.
Oh, man. I'll have seconds of whatever you had this morning, Gore. I like it.
Water.
Man, me too,
That's what I'm moving on
I
right
didn't
now.
really have lunch this morning either. That's why I said I'll have some. Enlightenment is going to be off the mark. Graphius has been comfortable on the Zen. Kind of body blocked here, but Kamaker, without the emitter, would have lost that. Nino's just recovering, and he's got enough jump strength in there. And so he's going to make it out alive. What is that loadout that he's rocking right now, actually? It's got to be at least 10% jump strength for this buck.
Yep,
and it's it's actually
5%.
5. So getting him a little bit more. Bright Marsh, not the biggest one. A really good Buck Wild. You know why, Gore? Because it just finishes off a lot of health on an Inara. That's
I think, in the same spot, same kind of scenario Nick had mentioned during the set earlier in Brazil, where it's just you get one Buck Wild, and honestly, Inara is probably the best target to shoot because she's not going to run away. She can't get out of there.
Yep.
And honestly, as long as you just consistently hit her, she's going to die and gets a big target that you really need to eliminate off the board.
And you know what I love, too, about just this new Buck thing? The bucking madness. Oh, my God. That loadout, that talent is so fun. Every time you get an elimination, you reset your whole ult, so you just can snowball a whole team. Oh, my God. It is a blast. And Kikoner's here. He's been the real blast for Sour Team. Blazing Asar's aggressing. Graphies goes in, but Kikoner's wisely just backs up, uses the space, uses the timer to his advantage. Very smart plays from him.
Really good. I like the aggression at this point. Exactly where you need to be. Stocks is going to go down right there. And that's going to be the overtime timer. Picks up K-Coners again. And it's just those key moments at the tail end where he recognizes, oh, we need some kills?
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. I got this. I've got the bombs in hand. 12, 6, and 6. Very, very comfortable on this Bomb King. And again, it's looking at, I want to say the matchup between him and Stocks. Those have been the two, I think, that have been kind of swaying things.
Yep.
Having second, and Nino Sassala, I think, has been there a little bit more often. Even when Graphies is on fire, Stocks hasn't been able to quite match that level that he was last game.
Yeah, Stocks having a bit of a down tilt. And you got to say, with how much he did in Game 2, would you blame him for being a little bit dismayed? Reminds me of LeBron and, you know, the Cavs and J.R. Smith running the ball out with thinking they were ahead when they were actually tied. LeBron saying, what are you doing? And I got 51 points in this game. We still lost. What do I have to do to win?
That's like going 3-3, having 96%, and then losing the game.
Going like 20-5 as well. I mean, that, you know, to me, there's a level of it's almost impossible to not have that in your mind a little bit. But, you know, obviously, these guys are resilient. They've done this before. Just play Paladins.
Shots are solid from second. As he just resets onto the point. Zerini getting low, but he has the reanimate. And I'm actually kind of curious. Last time, he just let that death happen. This time, he falls back and tries to stay alive a little bit more. And I think that's kind of the, not necessarily timidness, but let Blazing Stars have a little bit of room. Try to get in there. Do whatever you can. Graphies, though, going to be able to get rid of him. Now you come through with the ult.
Oh, great patience as well. Coners finds Stocks. There's a little bit of a connection there. The through time and space did hit, and it turns out to be a very, very good value kind of pickup for Sour Team. They're at 78%, Gore. It might just be the end of the game here unless Blazing Asars can do something. 93, 96, 99, and it's a Sour Team victory. Walled off again, Zerini. Linguini? I don't know. I was just thinking of something that could rhyme.
Yeah, no, that's a hard name to.
It's a tough one.
To get the ball rolling.
Get the ball rolling.
I will say, out of all of that, Sour Team played that well, which I think I've come to kind of expect out of them from the way past phases have gone.
Performance.
Blazing Asars have really stepped up their game, and I'm really happy to see, like, even just from a couple weeks ago at LAN to where they are now, I think that is a really big difference that they've made.
You know, I think this is just one of those where you look at a team and their growth, you look at a team and their opposition, you look at what they've done. There's nothing you could take away from Blazing Asars as far as experience, coming to the LAN, having the opportunity to play against the NA Gangstars representatives. That learning is going to stay with them. They are going to be ahead of Sour Team in that regard. But what Sour Team are doing now is they're fighting with without the chance given to them already to join. They want to make it to the next LAN. They know it's only literally like a month or so away, and so they have a lot going for them, guys. It was a great PGS today. Thank you so much for joining us on all platforms and on live.paladins.com. We look forward to doing that for the rest of the week, and you know where you can find us? Pretty much everywhere at 11 Eastern time every single day. Now, where can you find the rest of it? Well, it's the PPL later on this afternoon, 3 p.m. EST. Make sure to watch on live.paladins.com and to check out where we'll be broadcasting that. Of course, it is one of our favorite things. We got some great matchups today in Europe heading through. William, any last thoughts on today's PGS?
Just excited to see. I mean, with the way this finals went, I'm excited to see the phase finals. And then, of course, once one of these teams is able to qualify for LAN, what exactly they can offer with the way things have been going for them.
Yeah, EU definitely wants to have a big kind of conversation at that LAN, more than they did before, obviously losing to the NA team. So we'll see if they can do it. Great showcase today thus far. I'm Evan Rayner. That's William Newberry, Rain Day Gormizer. As always, never give up, never stop gaming, and we will see you all at 3.